This is an instructional video on what 360 breathing is, how to perform 360 breathing, and then I'm going to give you some modifications to actually start coordinating the breathing with your pelvic floor and lower abdominals. Breathing is a fantastic place to start with your postpartum physical recovery. After being pregnant, the baby pushing your organs and putting a lot of pressure on your diaphragm, your postural changes, our breathing pattern gets out of whack. So this is just a gentle way to start putting your alignment back together and starting to slowly strengthen those muscles and bring them back into coordination. So 360 breathing. From our handouts, you know that your abdominal canister is your diaphragm, your abdominals, your back muscles, and then your pelvic floor. So think of like a can of soup. And you want your breath, when you inhale, to come and fill that entire can, okay? What we don't want is to be breathing up here in the chest, bringing our shoulders up to the ears. This is a shallow breathing pattern. This actually stimulates our fight or flight nervous system, making us anxious. So what we want to do is retrain our bodies to take a good breath in and down, filling through our entire abdominal canister. So with 360 breathing, what you're gonna do is just be in a nice supported seated position. I have Lauren on the stability ball because that's what I prefer, but in a chair, couch, anywhere where you can feel comfortable and relax and focus on how you're breathing. So what I'm gonna have Lauren do is I'm just gonna have her take a nice inhale, and what I want her to think about initially is her air coming down into the lower half of her, not her chest. Shows that starting there, just taking a nice inhale down, letting that air come all the way down, touching the pelvic floor, not putting a lot of pressure, and then just a nice passive exhale. So after she's done a few of those, the next thing I'm gonna have her do is think about sending her air into her back and her side ribs. So again, we're trying to avoid breathing through the chest, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears. We want our breath to come push out into the side ribs and the back ribs. So just taking a nice few gentle inhales, getting some nice expansion through those ribs. It feels amazing. Those good inhales activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest. So it slows down the release of those stress hormones. So with the breathing exercises, nice and gentle, nothing is forced. I don't want you to hyperventilate. I want it to feel good. So after you've done a few inhales, filling up those side and back ribs, letting the air come down to your pelvic floor, filling that abdominal canister, the next thing I want you to think about is on your inhale, I want that air to touch your pelvic floor, but then I want you to relax your pelvic floor even further away from your body into your seated surface. So your diaphragm and your pelvic floor are linked up. So as you take a good inhale down, your pelvic floor should naturally relax as well. So I kind of just want you to take a few breaths, feeling that relaxation in the pelvic floor, and then just a nice gentle exhale, letting the pelvic floor recoil. How does that feel, Lauren? Okay, nice and relaxing. Okay. So after you've done a few of those, just kind of relax, breathe normal for a bit. Again, I don't want you to hyperventilate. Like Lauren just did, giving yourself a cue to know where you're trying to send your air is a great tip.
That helps a lot.
Right? Just that feedback of where you're wanting your air to go. And then the third part of this exercise, what I want you to do is regular inhale. We're not trying to force the pelvic floor to relax or anything, just a regular inhale, filling the canister. And then as you exhale, I want you to think about your pelvic floor coming together and lifting. So nice, good inhale. And then as you exhale, lifting the pelvic floor up. So we're getting that coordination between the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, the relaxation, the contraction, just getting our brain and our posture and our muscles coordinated. And that is a perfect place to start in your early postpartum recovery.